Michael Bolden. I'm the founder and director of the 10th Amendment Center, all the way here from the other New Hampshire, that's Los Angeles. I didn't think you guys would buy that. But I'm actually going to come up and give you a full-on talk a little bit later. First, I want to introduce our first speaker. We'll have a professional MC do this in a little bit. I guess kind of professional. He knows how to talk. I want to introduce our first speaker, someone who is actually extremely important to us. You can see some protesters outside that we had a little chat with. I invited them in because we believe that whatever anyone's agreements or disagreements they may have, what's most important is that they have those agreements or disagreements on a state level and not in Washington, D.C. And I told him, look at this Che hat I'm wearing. You probably might like me in some situations. Yeah, it's a commie hat. Believe it. So our first speaker, his name is Mike Rogers. The reason I bring up the protesters is because they tell us that this, they're protesting the idea that this event is funded by the Koch brothers. Somehow, Bryce, my girlfriend Sarah, and I really could afford to do this event real easily, and we didn't have to take an Amtrak from Sunday through Wednesday p.m. all the way across the country to not only avoid the TSA violating our rights, but also to afford the thing. So no, we don't necessarily have a bunch of corporate money, but we would be happy to take it if anyone out here happens to be a Koch brother. I take cash, check, and we have a credit card machine as well. But the long story short is Mike Rogers is just a normal guy who lives near Nashua. And we met him at an event that we were at maybe a year or so ago in Atlanta, Georgia. Him and his brother-in-law, Chris. And I guess they liked what we had to say, and they liked the message that we were giving. The Constitution, every issue, every time, no exceptions, no excuses. And we got to know Mike, we got to know Chris, and they felt that it was important for us to bring this message here to New Hampshire. It seems like the promised land to me, so I was all for it. And Mike has, I don't know what he wants me to say, but Mike has financially invested in making this happen. He has put up a lot of his personal money. He works long days at his job, and then he comes home at night and responds to emails and helps us organize the event and works with vendors and just reaches out to people. He's been absolutely essential because we couldn't be here without the support that he's given us both financially, logistically, and just morally in doing this work. So please give a very warm welcome to Mike Rogers.
Michael, good morning, everybody. So, first of all, I have a I'm sorry, who turned it off?
Put the mic closer.
Okay, gotta get closer. Sorry. So usually when a guy stands up in front of a big hall full of people as a confession, you don't run something like this. Well, good morning. I'm Mike, and I support the U.S. Constitution.
He's not a professional.
So. And I suspect that you do too. We're all here today. I think what unites us is our view that the U.S. Constitution is the finest governing document in the history of man. Madison said, and maybe paraphrasing, if man was to be governed by angels, no controls, internal or external, would be necessary. Well, we know that's not the case, and that's why we have our U.S. Constitution. So why is a British import standing here in front of you? Because, in the words, and again paraphrasing a little, the words of Adams and Paine, it is time to defend our rights as Englishmen from distant and tyrannical governments. Our founding fathers didn't think of themselves as Americans yet. They thought of themselves as Englishmen whose rights were being violated, and they stood up against their government. And I'm here to say, I'm standing with you, folks. I'm joining in. Over my years here in America, I've migrated from being a sort of generic Republican to an avid constitutionalist. And I really believe that the U.S. Constitution needs our support and defense at this time. Over the last few years, the excesses of the federal government under both Bush and Obama have got more and more people thinking about how we can push back against the federal government. People have started thinking about the 10th Amendment and other ways that we can legally prevent these encroachments. The 10th Amendment is one of those methods which say that all powers not delegated to the federal government are reserved to the states respectively and to the people. So, in my travels, I ran into the website of the 10th Amendment Center, and I found it was an absolute treasure trove of scholarly articles by a whole variety of authors, including Dr. Thomas Woods, who's here today, Rob Nagelson, Michael Boldin himself, Sheriff Richard Mack, and many, many more. If you haven't been there, I strongly suggest you visit 10thamendmentcenter.com. It's a great website. So when I met Michael Boldin a year or so ago, as he alluded, I thought his message and his speaking style were great. I wanted to bring him to New Hampshire. And then a little bit later, I had started reading one of the great authors and researchers on U.S. history and the U.S. Constitution, Dr. Thomas Woods. So imagine my delight when I found that the 10th Amendment Center and Thomas Woods were getting together to put on the Nullify Now tour on how we can use the powers granted to us under the Constitution to resist the encroachments of federal government. Madison and Jefferson were especially explicit in how the states could and should nullify laws that violated the rights of their citizens. And there's a long, long history of that, which Dr. Woods will tell us all about.
Yes.
So this all came together. I simply called Michael and said, what do I have to do to make this happen? How much do I have to bankrupt myself? Well, like he said, they're cheap. These guys live on a shoestring. There's no Koch brother in their background. With a little bit of help from my friends at Granite State Patriots Liberty PAC, Americans for Prosperity, Cornerstone Action, Granite Rock, New Hampshire Perspective, and all the fine vendors that you see over here. We were able to put this together, and truly it is on a shoestring. We got this great venue. The university's been extremely cooperative and helpful to us. They gave us the lowest possible price they could on the morning and afternoon refreshments. Yeah, sorry, you're on your own for lunch. We are on a shoestring here, but we made it happen. The ticket sales have financed all the great speakers you're going to see coming in here, and Michael and Bryson, their girlfriend, Michael's girlfriend, made it here by train to save money. So we truly believe in not wasting our money or yours, and a great program for you. Thanks very much.